You ready for this one? It's basically going to be a warning of today. But, with warning comes great benefit, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you're aware. If you follow your star map, is what Spirit just said. You follow your star map, you can pretty much dictate what's going to happen if you let it happen. Or if you review it, you'll see it happen. Or you have the ability to navigate change and adaptability, which is what your star map pretty much significant. It has a significance in a sense. It's because when you're born, you're fixed, right? And those are all fixed energies, capabilities, understandings, what you're capable of, what your strong suits are, what your hindrances are, and all those things. And as you become more self-aware of those things, you have the ability to change them, and what they're showing me is the wheel, bro, or a bunch of cups. Like, there's certain cups that are full, that are overfull, that aren't full. You know what I'm saying? That we're all here to balance out as like a soul challenge, or, a way of being or understanding how we're here to navigate our lives without necessarily allowing all the outside noise to dictate how we behave, how we think, how we act, and all those things, right? So it's like empowerment is like literally on a piece of paper is what they're showing me. And getting a better understanding or a better gauge of how these things function, especially today with this collective message that we're going to give today, to give you an idea how to navigate these things and how to not take these things so seriously, to where we're not so emotionally effective or emotionally involved or energetically focused on distractions or things that don't necessarily belong to us, because we all have days and we all have these moments of weakness that we can feel is a weakness, but the reality of it is it's not really a weakness. It's more like insight. You know what I'm saying? Because in that time that you're actually seeing it, it's a time of introspect. But where's the love, the positivity? Where's the patience? Where's the discernment and the intuition to navigate those spaces? Is that something that you're actually doing right now? Or is it something that you're bypassing somehow? And I believe these things are really key to discernment, especially in days like this that are going to cost you somehow, if you're not paying attention. And it's not that you have to be paranoid or psychically aware. It's just a navigation of the flow of energy versus the overperception or the perception that something else is going on or something is happening, And I believe that's a very key message to the energies that are happening today in one way or another, is that there will be conflict. Some people will perceive it as chaos. Some people will perceive it as misconduct, but the reality of it is that everybody's walking around not knowing themselves, and this is how they behave when they don't know themselves, right? We overreact. We're overstimulated. We're anxious, worried about the future, concerned about the fucking past. What am I going to do now? Da-da-da-da-da. Worry, panic, fear, anxiety. All those things that I just mentioned there, among others that I can mention, which I probably will, are not of God. It's not of balance. It's not of flow, and it's not of alignment. So when you look at those things as an agitation inside of yourself, oh, well, fuck that person. I can't believe that these people behave the way they do, and you're walking around high and mighty like your shit don't stink. You know what I'm saying? All these things are happening simultaneously from one person or another, if not all of them, And it's in those moments that we realize that it's like, this is a triggered reaction. This is a survival response somehow. This is a pre-programmed condition that I'm fucking dealing with. And maybe I shouldn't engage in either the thought or the feeling or the emotion that is associated with things that piss me off, with people that piss me off, with places that piss me off. You know what I'm saying? That type of negativity is not of God. It's not of you. It's a learning condition that you have to push past through somehow to learn to get to know yourself better and be more humble and aligned with yourself, the divinity within you, versus the chaos that ensues outside of you. And I believe a lot of people are being shown that chaos within themselves. It's all bubbling up or burning somehow. There might be throat sensations, itchy throat, scratchy throat. Your pH balance might be off. You feel like you need to drink a lot of water. You haven't been drinking enough water. Your throat is itching. You have acid reflux, indigestion, sacral imbalances, hormonal imbalances. These are key alignment elements, is what Spirit just saying. So if you're walking around and your body ain't right, it's time for alignment. It's letting you know exactly what the hell is going on. Hey, I don't feel well, or I feel that I am feeling this inside of my body, And I need to utilize my discernment to pay attention to what the fuck is happening to me, because my body's actually talking to me in this moment. And we don't necessarily communicate, and we don't speak the same language. So I'm just assuming is what I'm also hearing. So these internal malfunctions supposedly are actually giving you insight to the misalignment or diseases that you may have inside of yourself, not only energetically, but manifested physical. And I think there's a key element to this as well, because this is how we manifest. And when we manifest unconsciously, we will get little warning songs along the way that we are out of alignment and that we are imbalanced somehow. You know what I'm saying? We can only be ignorant for so long before the universe says, it's time for you to wait. It's time for you to stop. It's time for you to reflect. It's time for you to be by yourself. It's time for you to move. You know what I'm saying? Pushing you along the way and kind of like ushering you into a new age in one way or another, which is also a new version of yourself, where you realize that you damn near have to change everything to be the person that you want to be, to have the ambition, the motivation, and the inspiration, right? And how do we learn that? How do we learn that? We push through what's happening right now, and we have a more opportunistic perspective on life and what is happening to us, what we're looking at in the community or globally. You know what I'm saying? This is all an unraveling and an unfolding, and everybody's being basically told, hey, you know this is happening, and this is happening for this, and these reasons. It's time for you to focus on yourself and raise your vibration and ascend into the higher calling or the awareness that you're being asked to. And maybe having the ambition to do so would benefit you greatly as well, because it is your greatest teacher, is what Spirit is saying. It is the ambition and the motivation and inspiration that comes from within you that drives everything outside of you. And you're more in control or in the driver's seat when you have those revelations or those realizations than being succumbed by everybody else's will or everybody else's beliefs that are going on in the atmosphere that you are all picking up on in one way or another and interpreting them in a language that only your mind knows versus that energy. And now we're having the clarity come through where, you know, they're showing me Gemini, they're showing me swords, they're showing me air. We're having that clarity to come through that now we actually can see where we don't want to navigate, we don't want to go to unfriendly places, we don't want to do those things, but we're also having to see why simultaneously as to why you continuously have such a powerful emotion of not doing that when you already know better. And that's a fact, is what Spirit just said. You know what I'm saying? So if you're still emotionally involved with some type of past space or some type of discernment or some type of judgment or opinion of yourself or another, which is the same thing basically, it's just universal feedback, then you realize, oh wait, shit, maybe I do have a problem. Maybe there is something I need to look at. Maybe I need to pay more attention to those things because the universe is calling me, the universe is talking to me, now that I have this perspective or this insight. And that's what this collective message is all about. Don't let today fuck you, okay? Period. You know, don't give yourself the opportunity to grow under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself to be comfortable in chaos. These are the things that we learn along the way that have been fucking with our peace for so long that we can't even see straight half the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? These energies that are present, that are here, and that are also near will be testing those phases of your reality and your understanding of that reality. You know? So it's a good time to pay attention, because these things will happen or they will take you away, only to show you that they did happen indeed. Maybe in a more present moment or a future space or a future tense, but what comes around goes around, and it goes around always. And it always comes back to you. And that, instead of being afraid of that very statement, embrace the fact that it does, because the universe is giving you another chance to practice what you preach or what you truly believe you are. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people are going to be working on 6 months, 6 years, it doesn't matter. This cycle represents a very profound new beginning and a rebirth and a becoming for a lot of people on many different levels and in many different ways. And if you still don't understand that, now you will, is what Spirit is saying. But it doesn't require you to sit in a single space. It requires you to enact life and be the respondent of life that you are, which is truly connecting with yourself and allowing you to get the warm embrace of the universe and allow that flow to take you to places that it needs to take you, to show the things that it needs to show you, because they're already showing you where the pain points are at right now. You know what I'm saying? And this is Mars, fam. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I myself, as, you know, having Scorpio placements, you know, I have emotional sensitivity to the lunar phases of Scorpio as well. So if you have strong water placements right now, hey, they're getting activated, buddy, you know? And there's really nothing that you can do about it except for the warm embrace that you have the possibility to give yourself through this transition, and show yourself some love till you get to the other side of the fence and you see what you need to see, right? And that's what I heard, you know? And bringing things to balance is really key. And this, we're in the energy of Taurus, which is also stability, which is grounding, which is groundedness, which is practicality. You have to see the practical things in your life that you've been lying to yourself about for so long, and not allow yourself to be emotionally affected by the revelation or the realization, because it'll take you back to where you thought you belonged, but you don't belong there. And that's what the reverse aspect of looking at these things from a higher perspective brings to you, right? And that's what I feel here. You know what I'm saying? And it's through action. It's through respondence. It's through correspondence and coherence. It's through embodiment, right? That you go on to your, basically, you open a door, you have to go through another door, you know, or you go open that door and then you have all these realizations. And this is the process that we're all undergoing right now, diabolically. You know what I'm saying? For some. But also at the same time, it's like, hey, if you've manipulated yourself for so long that it took manipulation to get you where you're at here today, and now it's time to take a look at yourself. I almost feel like somebody, you know, that was internal for somebody in this room. You know what I'm saying? That they felt that in their chest. You know what I'm saying? Because I myself felt it, you know? And I might have to go back to this later to check it out. But like literally, this is harvest. This is abundance. This is us having the ability and knowing that we have the ability to change our circumstances with the way that we see things, the way that we intend things, the way that we put our heart into things. You know what I'm saying? And actually create incremental change, because everybody's adapting some way, somehow, whether through a coping mechanism or whether it's through realization and seeing that these things actually matter in their life, because the universe is presenting them to you because you feel a certain type of way, and it's asking you to release them or overcome them or know them for what they are and be done with them, right? And that's kind of like where you're at heavily, you know, if you allow yourself to be that emotional, you know what I'm saying? Because Saturn doesn't care about any of those things. It's more about discipline. It's about creation. It's about you getting to work. It's about you being the person that you're meant to be doing. It's about hustle. It's about flow. It's about movement. It's about, what do I want to create today? What do I want to build in the future? What type of legacy do I want to leave behind? What am I leaving for my children? What am I leaving for humanity? Because I have all these beautiful gifts that I share with people. What am I doing with them? Because that's part of my purpose and my path, because those are the things that I were given to share with everyone else, including myself. You know? And if this shows you how selfish you are by saying it, just understand that you're not selfish. You just didn't know any better. Okay? And it took someone to come along and open up your mind just enough for you to look at things differently, to be able to change your entire fucking life. And these are the beauty of this message. You know? Is that today you have an opportunity to take life by the reins or the horns, whichever way you want to say that, Taurus season, you know, and really make something happen in your life and allow the universe to respond and show you what you're doing right back to you. Salah. What a beautiful message. The magician at the bottom of the deck. You choose, man. You're going to be the master of your elements, or you're going to let the elements master you, you know? So thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening to this message, and be mindful of the devil. All right, because the devil can also be the ego in us. It could be our faith and our religion. And I have a feeling like some of these religious imperfections or invalues will be coming up to the surface here soon, and there will be mass revelation because of the truth coming out. You know, so if your faith or your devoted faith is somehow religious, I feel like a lot of these religious aspects will be coming to realization, because I also see the snake on this devil card, and I also see the Hierophant. But this Hierophant is kind of like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of religious tact that is there, that I believe these things they will be exploited for the truth that they have, is what I'm hearing. So, you know, be aware of the bombshell is what I feel with that space, because this is how it turns things. This is how cycles end. This is how cycles change. This is how new beginnings happen. So either way, you're on board and you're flowing with the motion of the ocean, or the ocean is crashing up against you and taking you away anyway. We all have options, fam. We all have options, but it's always about how we see things, and that's really important, you know? And I can go on with this stuff for hours, you know what I'm saying? Because it's beautiful, because these messages give us the opportunity to flow with life the way that we were meant to, instead of fight against it. With that being said, if you'd like a reading today, you did like this here, I am doing donation-based readings. There isn't a price on the donation. You can type done and how you donated in the chat, and I'd be more than happy to do a reading for you. Or if you want something, a one-on-one space, or you want to check out our sound and energy healing services or mentorship, possibly, we have those available on fourcornershealing37.com. The link is in the bio. You click there, or you will get me on a one-on-one space to give you soul counsel, or you might go swing over to Woman Ancient Sun and see what products they have that might be available to you, especially if you're a healer and you're looking for certification. You have those things available to you. So with that being said, also questions, comments, how do you feel about the message? Put it in the comments, I would be more than happy to hear from you. Any questions about, Does it resonate? It resonates. Do you understand? Do you not? Does it matter? Yes, the link is in the bio. I couldn't tell you what position it is, but I do know that I put a Venmo V right next to the link to make it easier for people to donate. What's up, Green Eye? It's nice to see some old people popping in here. Some ones that I don't see all the time that I've seen before. Still hanging around, still having the availability to receive these messages one way or another, or give yourself an opportunity to receive a message. Fine, if you follow the rules of the universe. Universal law is key here. We have to know these things. We have to know how this works. Because when you don't know how life works, then all you're doing is fighting against it. Right? Trying to figure it out. Hitting your head so many times. Who wants to do that when there are simple things that we can pick up? Like a book or doing research on the internet that allows us to become more comfortable with being ourselves and less reactive to the world that has trained us to be that way. This is all this shit is coming out right now. In everybody, in one way, shape, or form, dude. It's beautiful. Because we get to see how it's working. How life is actually working in our favor now. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people can see that now more than ever, now that we've explained these things in one way or another. Because it opens you up in a way that you haven't been open before. And don't be surprised if you're going to face some type of adversity with this realization as well, to see if you're going to go back to that old belief system, that old religion, or that old construct. This is how the universe works and acts. The acts of self. Be mindful of the acts you place upon yourself. And these are frequential. These are vibrational. This is all energy, fam. It's alchemy. These are all things that you're meant to master and become more self-aware of more and more as time comes by, and then it allows you to navigate a path that is not as chaotic or destructive as the other paths that are being held on to right now. So, beautiful message, fam. Take that with a grain of salt, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to post this up on YouTube later if you didn't catch the whole message or anything like that in its entirety. And, if you guys want to reach out and have soul counsel, some type of energy, sound healing, we have those services available on our website. Much love to each and every one of you. Have a beautiful and blessed day, fam. And don't forget about the awareness that you got today, because it's going to help you navigate situations that you didn't think that you could navigate in one way or another. And I'd like to hear from you if that happens to you and you have those revelations as well. This video will be posted on TikTok. Just put it in the comments, or if not, go over to YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. You can put it on there. Like, share, comment, fam. Let's blow it up. Thank you very much.